Hey guys, this is our Friday, April 3rd devotional, and we just want to continue to encourage you and to help you in this time. And we just want to be there for as a resource for you guys. We appreciate all of your donations towards the food pantry and towards the hospital. We'll be dropping off our first box to the hospital later next week. So we definitely know that they need the support. So we just want to encourage you, and today we're going to be closing out our series on finding God's vision. And so this week we have focused on having our eyes cleaned, having our idols cleaned, our heart checked, and also what it means to wait on the Lord and pause in the Lord. And so this time we are going to close out and taking this idea of a leap of faith, and we're going to be just asking God to show us what it means to, now that we have prepared ourselves and trusted in God in order to see God move, and wait on Him and wait on His timing, then we're going to go forward and we're going to see what He does. God is a huge God, a God who moves mountains. And so when God moves the mountains in our lives and we're willing to trust and seek His vision, then we need to be ready. We need to be willing to take that leap. Oftentimes when we look as believers and we're trusting in God, we want Him to move little mountains. We're okay with speed bumps and we get through life doing different things like that. But what we want to do is see that God moves a mountain, moves continents, shakes the earth. And so when He does that, when revivals break out, when dead, dry bones are brought to new life, these are the things that we're praying for and that we're hoping for. And as believers, we don't want to settle for just good deeds. We want to settle for God's miraculous intervention in our lives, taking the slaves and setting them free, and taking addicts and giving them new life and new desires. And we want to see what God's going to do during that time. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be praying for that. We're going to be asking God, okay, God, I'm ready. I'm willing to go. I'm ready to seek You. Help me to see Your vision for my life. Help me to see the ministry and the plan and the people that You have for us. And so as we're looking for that, and as we're looking to see what that means and what happens with that, we need to be ready to step out in faith. We look at Moses, who walked out into water. It wasn't him going up to the water. It wasn't the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people behind him that were fleeing for their lives with all they could hold in their possession. But ultimately, he was trusting in God that God would part the sea. And so when we take that leap of faith, we got to get out in the water. We can't wait to see, okay, God set it all up. He's got us taken care of. We're good to go. No, He's saying, step out in the water and trust Me. And we go out, we take that first step, and we say, okay, God, this isn't going to work out unless You show up. So I'm ready. So today we have a great story by my wonderful wife, Lauren, who's going to share about how a few years ago she stepped out into the water and she trusted God to move in a mighty way. And this was her experience when she went on the missions for Nicaragua. And she basically gave up everything here, left her job, and said, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to trust God. So this is her jumping into the water head first, and she's going to share about what it was like for her to take that huge step. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi everyone. So George asked me to share a little bit about going to Nicaragua and what all that looked like. So a couple years ago, I went on a mission trip to Nicaragua for a week. And I went down there just to, with a church group, kind of like you see a lot of different people doing, and had a great time. And while I was there, I really felt God stirring my heart and just saying, hey, this is something you can come and do. This is something that you could do. There was a lot of kids there, a lot of people I wanted to go and work with. Spoke a little bit of Spanish, so, I thought I'd be all set. So I came home and just still felt Him tugging on my heart. One of the verses He placed on my heart at that time was Isaiah 6:8, which God says, who shall I send and who shall go for me? And I said, here I am, send me. You can hear the wheels on the bus in the background from the little one. At the time, I was single. I had a great job, but I was living at my parents' house, after college, and, thought, what, this is the best time I can go. So I left my job, I basically sold everything I had. I held on to my car at that point, but that was just because of a, time limit. And, a month later, I hopped on a plane and moved to Nicaragua. And I went there initially for 3 months. So I had a 3-month return ticket. I went in September and I was going to come back for Christmas. And I went down and, had 2 suitcases full of things and went down and helped launch a ministry, doing ministry to street kids, teaching English and literacy to people in these really poor communities, and going out and really sharing the gospel with people. So I was there for 2 years and I loved it. It was such an eye-opening experience to see how other people live and to get to go down there and share the gospel. I did come back 3 months, after my initial 3 months, sold my car and basically sold everything else I had and started to really begin my support raising at that point. The first 3 months I kind of, was able to do a little bit more with just a couple of people backing me. So I was able to go down and live there for 2 years. And I stayed until our organization, decided that Nicaragua wasn't the best fit at the time. And they basically closed their doors and I came back to the United States. But it was really a big leap in faith for me to kind of leave everything I had and go down there, and I don't regret it. I think, God really used me in that time frame, and he really stretched me, and it was a great experience. So just wanted to share a little bit about that with you guys.
So we hope you guys enjoyed the background. Oops, sorry about that. And so this was years of her clearing the mud out of her eyes through ministry at college and trying to find God in these times and trusting in God, and then willing to take risk and reprioritize her life in order to seek after him. And as he
puts it much better than I do.
As she was seeking after him, this is what he did. He said, wait and hold on. Like, she went on a mission trip and she came back and it stirred in her. And that's where she's waiting. She's like, okay, God, you're trying to do something great. You're moving my heart and my desires because I'm free to focus on you and not on my job or on my family or on my mortgage. And it's those times when we're free to trust him, free to follow him, we can be free to follow him in everything that we do. And so during this crisis, during this time where, jobs aren't quite what they were a week ago or a month ago, kids are at home, the world is very different, and it's the new norm, as we're calling it these days. And so we're looking at this new culture that we have. How is God moving you? And if he's not, ask yourself, what's in your eyes keeping you from seeing him? And that's what we need to be praying on today. We hope that you'll join us this Sunday morning for service. We have a great Palm Sunday message on community that sends. We're going to be looking at Jesus being sent, and as disciples, we're all called to be sent into the world. Tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, or at 8:30 a.m., and 11 a.m. we have our men's and women's Bible studies respectively. We also have our congregational care meeting at 10 a.m. If you want to help our church stay connected, come join us in the Zoom chats. We have Zoom messages for all 3 of those. We'd love to have you as part of those, and we want you to be connected. We want to make sure that our church is seeking after God now more than ever. We might not be meeting in the building, but we're still meeting. We're still gathering. We're still chasing after little ones who are in toys that they shouldn't be. And so we want to use this time to seek after him and humble ourselves before him. So just stay tuned, stay connected. You should have something in your mail coming soon. So check those mailboxes, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, take care. God bless, and stay healthy.